Welcome down, everyone, to another episode of Those Nerds You Know. My name is Ethan.
I'm Eddie.
I'm Scott.
And we are Those Nerds You Know. Welcome down.
We're a podcast where we talk about nerdy things like video games and comic books and TV shows and movies and things like that.
Accurate. And we've got a video game for you tonight.
Or video game.
Or today, or whenever it is. Whatever time period thing it is, wherever you are listening.
I think it's been a hot minute since we did a video game podcast.
Yeah, I think the last one was World of Warcraft.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's been a bit. It's okay. We've got plenty to do now that Ethan has more video games in his life. So
right? That he can't play at all for reasons.
I have like so little time. But yes.
Buying a new PS4 for Black Friday.
It was such a good deal,
Such
Eddie.
a good deal. It was really good.
No, I agree. I was planning on getting one myself, but I was like, I don't really have time right now. I decided against it.
Should have done it. You can get Final Fantasy 14 on it. So good.
Me?
Yeah.
I have Final Fantasy 14 on my PC.
I know, but you can play it on both consoles.
But why would I want to do that when I have it on PC?
Because, I don't know.
Eddie, I don't think I was aware that you played 14.
Yeah, you were. I told you that I was playing it for a little while. And then you were like, oh, thanks for letting me know and stuff.
Oh, that's right, because you were supposed to let me know when you went in.
Yeah.
And you didn't.
And then I didn't. And then I did.
And then he did.
After the fact.
And now you probably don't play it anymore.
And now I do not, because I played World of Warcraft for like 7 months.
That's right.
And now I'm in like break mode from MMOs.
Oh, good plan.
Because you get a while, you put a while into it, and then you kind of get like burnt out. But I just started into my flow again, so I won't probably get burnt out for another month or two.
Yeah. Well, like I said, depending on what the races look like for the new expansion for 14, I might get back into it for a little while.
Yeah.
Cool.
And friends coming in, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, and World of Warcraft has patches coming, so
Did you say
I might actually. Huh?
I'm sorry. Did you say it was Fran? Is it just Fran?
Yeah, Fran. Baltier was supposed to come in, but they're giving us his outfit instead.
Balthier. That's kind of lame. Why not just put him in it?
I don't know.
Maybe it's so that you can be Balthier, so you can date Fran, because that's what everyone wants to do. No one wants to date Balthier. They want to date Fran.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, like
Not everyone.
Yes, Eddie, that was a joke.
I know. But Scott was going into the serious area, so I was like, oh, time to explain a joke again.
Yes, our group chat, a.k.a. Eddie explaining Ethan's jokes to Scott.
Who doesn't catch them.
I don't get them. I'm sorry.
Gosh.
It's fine. That's why we're here. To explain each other's thought processes, because we're that close now.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
I feel like we've grown together as a family.
Indeed.
Well, one of us moved to Natchitoches,
Well,
and the other moved to Los Angeles, so,
But still makes
very
attempts.
close family.
I still go to
still a
cons.
close family.
I'm not salty about this whatsoever.
Not one bit.
Anyway.
What? I don't remember where we were, so rather than trying to get back on whatever track we were on, I think it's best we go straight into whatever we were going to talk about tonight, which is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu.
And Eevee, for those that have it.
And Eevee, yes.
Because, we have to have a red and blue variant.
The basic bees out there. Yeah.
It's true. So
It's a yellow remake.
Yes.
It is a yellow remake. And did you get Pikachu or Eevee, Ethan?
I got Pikachu, bro.
Oof.
I want to deal with that Eevee crap.
You got
who wants Eevee?
Me want Eevee. Why would I?
Me want Eevee. The only benefit I've seen thus far is that if you do get the Eevee one, you can, in like the first area you go to, you can catch Pikachu. But if you get the Pikachu one, you have to wait like almost the whole game to get an Eevee, which is real stupid. But whatever.
But then you have Pikachu already,
yes.
And then you don't have Eevee, so who wants Eevee anyway?
And really, I just want Eevee for its evolutions, but if you get Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, the Eevee stays as Eevee. You can't evolve it, and I'm like, no.
Well, Pikachu can't evolve Pikachu either. So.
Yeah, but who
wants a Raichu?
Right, and I can just get a Raichu. Like I don't have to evolve my Pikachu to have a Raichu. Also, I've traded for a freaking Alolan Raichu, so I now have an Alolan Raichu. What up?
Dope.
It just floats behind you. It's like floats through the air on its surfboard tail. It's a good time.
That's so adorable.
It's pretty nice.
I don't know. I really like. So I guess one of the features of the game is that you can kind of customize your trainer, your Pokemon that's on your shoulder, Eevee or Pikachu.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the way that Eevee looks in its outfits and its hairstyles and stuff better than I would if I saw Pikachu in the same thing.
Well, that's because you haven't seen Pikachu in a pair of Ray-Bans. That's it is.
Pikachu is adorable.
It's the best thing. Like once I found that, I found some shades and I put them on Pikachu, and I was like, "This is what you're gonna look like for the rest of your life." That's that's it. He had a hat on before,
And then
and
then you can imagine him speaking like Ryan Reynolds. You know?
yes.
That's true.
That's the Pikachu.
I bet you they have the detective hat in there. I'll have to find that.
Oh yeah, probably. If not, it's probably DLC coming.
It'll definitely
I'm sure.
be DLC.
Yeah.
Especially it's around like May, whenever the movie comes out.
Gotcha. So this game, as has been mentioned before, is a remake of Pokemon Yellow. If you don't know what that is, it's just the first generation Pokemon game. Red and Blue were the first ones. I think it was green in Japan, and over here it was red and blue. And then Yellow came out as like the super version of those. And in that,
it was more based on the anime.
Correct.
Like it was an anime game that has all the aspects of like Ash and Pikachu and Team Rocket, Jesse and James and such.
Yes, absolutely.
That was mainly the draw of Yellow.
Yep. And you have your little Pikachu that can follow you around. And essentially what Pokemon games are is they're RPGs where you can make a party of 6 monsters, and these monsters or less, yes. 6 or less, minimum or maximum 6 monsters. These monsters being the Pokemon that you capture as you go throughout the world. You build a team. They have different elements, and the elements are strong and weak against other elements. And you essentially try to craft a good team to be able to defeat various other people who are known in the world as strong trainers, aka the gym leaders. And you get little gym badges as rites of passage, proving that you are better than the rest. And then you go and you defeat the Elite Four, who are the best of the best, and also typically you usually defeat Team Rocket or whatever other teams on whatever version you're playing, who are typically evil people, usually trying to steal Pokemon for some nefarious plot.
And this formula has not changed in 20 years.
Not a bit. not an iota.
I mean, unless you want to count like Sun and Moon, which was kind of deviated from the main, but not really, to be fair.
Yep.
They just gave you extra things to do aside from battling gym leaders.
I think most of what the different games have accomplished is they've added in a new mechanic or two, or they've made some things slightly easier to do than the earlier ones.
Slightly.
Very slightly.
A very large amount of ease into this game.
Yeah. One thing I do wish they would put into games like this, into the Pokemon games, is an ability to skip tutorials, and B, an ability to change the level of difficulty.
Nintendo loves their tutorials, though. I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon.
But I mean, it's not Nintendo specific. I guess it's like Game Freak that's made all these games.
Yeah, well, no, I know, but like under the Nintendo name, like most of their games, I mean, pretty sure it's like a Nintendo qualification to be like, hey, make sure people know how to play this game, or we're not gonna publish it.
Make sure there's an hour-long onboarding process, please.
And I think for a lot of them, it's because like they're trying to appeal to not just the people who've been playing Pokemon since the beginning, but also any new people who wanted to try and start out. Especially games like this one, where it's like a new console, new area, and everything. They really want to pull
a new generation of children to play the Pokemans.
Yep.
And it's understandable, but there should be an option to be like hard mode.
Absolutely.
Survival mode.
Instead of having to like make your own rules, like the Nuzlocke stuff and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be great. Like actually making Nuzlocke like an actual official,
an official format. Way to play the game. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But we can probably complain about that for years, and it likely won't happen.
Yeah, probably.
I'm hoping that the new installment in the series next year will give us some fresher views of the Pokemon RPG landscape, but who's to say? I don't know. It may not. So I don't want.
I think that this game is very much so like a practice round for that particular game. I feel like that game has been in the works longer, or maybe even a little bit before this one, and then this was just kind of like that. Okay, we know what we know about this. Let's get it out. Let's put these cool new features in and see what they like, what they don't like, and then we can kind of cater to the new.
I'd say it feels like a cash grab to go in addition with Pokemon Go, but
Pokemon Go.
They wanted to make a game like based around Pokemon Go that wasn't actually like a phone game.
Yeah.
So, like especially with the Pokemon catching mechanics, that's straight out of Pokemon Go.
Yes.
And Let's Go is from.
And I feel like
Pokemon
that was the biggest gripe or the two biggest gripes that people had going into this game is like the way you catch Pokemon is a little gimmicky.
Yeah, and more specifically the non-battling wild Pokemon.
And that's the other main gripe is just the fact that you don't battle any wild Pokemon that you run into. The only battles you have,
the legendaries.
Yes, except for legendaries and Snorlax.
Snorlax is a legendary Pokemon too. No.
How do you feel about this, though? Ethan, having played the game, how do you feel about the gimmick?
So I don't really mind the way you catch Pokemon. Like, it's not that big of a deal to me, but probably just because I played Go. I really like the fact that it's not random encounters anymore, that you can see the Pokemon in the world walking around. That's really freaking cool.
Yeah, no, that's like the best thing that they have done with this game, in my opinion, is that you can see the Pokemon running around, and it's not random and invisible Pokemon. And like it makes the maps look more lively, like just as a whole. Like even with the trainers there, they're just stationary or walking a set path, but the Pokemon are actually like walking around and stuff. That's great.
Yeah.
Why didn't they do that sooner? And I hope they take that into the next generation game.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, they should keep wild battles in.
Yeah.
I think
like they should combine those.
There's two thoughts that I have about this. One is I like the catching mechanic that we have in this game more for two reasons. One, I always as growing up playing the games, I always felt weird just beating the crap out of a Pokemon for the sake of experience. Like, it just felt weird for like to just take out Rattatas for like hours on end to grind for Pokemon and stuff. Whereas this case, you're just catching them, and then if you don't need them, you transfer them to someone who can be, take care of them. Professor Oak for a point. And then the other one is it's so much faster, I feel, than you just throw the Pokeball and you catch it or you don't, and then you just move along. Like you don't have to spend tons of things trying to figure out a way to get this Pokemon defeated quickly, especially if you're grinding for sake of grinding. Like, it's just so much easier.
I'd agree. I think, honestly, I wouldn't mind either way. If they keep this catching mechanic, I'd be fine. But if they bring back wild encounters, that's fine too. One thing I like is that when you catch the Pokemon, you get experience from doing that. I think they've probably fixed it in some of the newer renditions, but I'm not entirely aware. Is that like there was a time when if I would have my Pokemon fighting a wild Pokemon that I wanted to catch, whittle him down to low HP, throw my Pokeball, catch it, my Pokemon wouldn't get experience for that because I caught the Pokemon rather than defeating it. And I think that's been changed in the later versions, but earlier on I remember that being so upsetting, whereas now the only thing you do with wild Pokemon is catch them and you get experience for that, and your whole team gets experience, which is fun and good. I mean, some people think it's handholdy.
And easy. Yes,
but
super easy.
It also gives you the experience share. Every game gives you that at some point. So I mean, like, I'm fine with it.
I agree. So for on the one hand, like, yes, it's great because you can sit there and train all of your Pokemon in your party at once. I think I would prefer it to be a feature you could turn off and on, or at least a feature that you had to earn versus something that was just given to you in the very beginning. Because like even in other Pokemon games, you could have like an experience share item that you would give to a Pokemon in a party, and it would let you get experience for that as well. I feel like it would be easier if it just had that in it.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't really mind it. It's just another thing that streamlines stuff for me and makes it simpler and one less thing I have to worry about. And especially I think in changing so many other things here, I think changing something to make it simpler for a player, in my opinion, is a better way to go about it. Because like think if you did,
it highly depends on the thing that's being made easy, though.
Yes. But also when you think about like if I run into a Pokemon and I just throw Pokeballs to catch it, what Pokemon in my party should get experience from that? If none of them were in the fight, I feel like it would be just as strange to have the first Pokemon in the fight in my party get experience.
So therefore, have them fight. That's
right. I get that. I understand that. But I mean,
like there's a point at which the game plays for you. Like you can't let.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing a game, you're gonna play a game. You can't let the game play it for you because that's not fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not at all. Even if it's like super simple, like there's a point at which you have to stop and be like, okay, the game is doing this for me, and I'm not being able to strategize as much as I could be, and things like that. Yeah. Especially in an RPG setting.
And I think that there are some aspects of the game that I think that they've simplified for the sake, because there are aspects of the game of past games that were a lot more difficult to take care of. For instance, IV training and Eevee training, it used to be just like this very hardcore Pokemon game, thing, and now it's like overly simplified. I mean, you just find whatever you need from a random Pokemon, plug it into the Pokemon you do want, and you've got an excellent IV Pokemon almost instantly.
And that's a good example right there, because the EVs and IVs weren't a necessary thing that you had to do to play the game and even be good at the game.
Yeah.
However, it was there for things like reading and stuff, like to get specific moves and things like that. That's toward more of the hardcore, competitive players and stuff. And it's just, if you're playing like that, you're not playing to just beat the game, You're actually like playing because you want a really good team that you can fight people with and challenge their knowledge of the game and things like that. And if you take that away, it's like, everybody's on a level playing field, and it's not really fun.
I guess so. I actually really enjoy the fact that they gave us an ability to judge a Pokemon. That was simpler than having to take a Pokemon to a person on a map.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's just like annoying to walk to one area
absolutely
and like, get a judgment.
I don't think
that's
my
pretty
complaint
tedious.
was with the appraisal system. I think the appraisal system is fine. I think my problem was that instead of having to find out which Pokemon dropped certain IVs or which places that you wanted to, which Pokemon are you should train certain IVs for. In this case, you just find these little items that you can just kind of plug into your Pokemon, like little treats that you gave.
I'll be real honest with you, I love that too.
Really?
Yes, I do. I hated having to open Bulbapedia on my phone next to me and look up what Pokemon I should be fighting to get certain EVs, and then go and find where that Pokemon is on the map and hope I run into them, and then have to run away from Pokemon that aren't that, so that I could get the ones that I wanted, so I could be sure that when it leveled up, it got a certain amount of points in that stat. I hated that. But if now, because that was harder to control. Now I find Pokemon like that I know will give me the candy that I need. I catch them, I have their candies, I can transfer them in, I get those candies, and then I can divvy those candies out to the Pokemon that I want to have that. To me, that's similar to like a skill tree setting or something like that on an RPG, where like I get skill points and I can put those skill points where I want them to be. I'm not beholden to, you killed a Tyrannosaurus Rex, so you only get attack points for your skill tree. I think that's really dumb. Instead, I kill whatever I want. I look at the points that I get from that, and I can allocate them where I choose to. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And there is some a good point there that, like, in order for you to get the information that you needed for the Pokemon that you're looking for, or the way that you wanted to train the Pokemon, you had to have that other medium, that Bulbapedia thing. But I kind of feel like that right there, that aspect is kind of what separated the hardcore players from the casual players. And now I feel like the people who are casual could just do what the hardcore people can do for, with very little effort at all.
Leveling the playing field, as I said.
Yeah, levels the playing field.
I guess it depends on if you like that or not. I personally like that.
Yeah. And I guess,
then you're going to have to go through the grind, Ethan.
Yeah. And I guess it wouldn't be a problem if you were only playing it for yourself, but if you were one of those people that were into like Pokemon battles and like PvP and everything like that I would not play this game for PvP. I would not get into this because I know that everybody.
I don't think I ever really did. I never really played
top-tier
competitively.
stuff.
I just like the thought of having a really strong or like perfect Pokemon.
Competitively viable team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I used to pride myself on having one of those like you work hours on end trying to get like the perfect team and everything, and then you're like, I could just destroy everybody. But then there's always somebody that I knew that had a better IV trained for some reason or another, and I'm like,
hey, now there's this 5-year-old kid that can demolish my team that I worked hard on.
I know, like what the heck.
So through this whole conversation, we were talking about like training Pokemon, and that's the whole point of like all of this. You're training these little creatures to be stronger and like the best that they can be,
Right.
as opposed to going around and just chunking Pokeballs at other Pokemon and giving candy and things like that. Woo, we're getting so strong doing this. But, you know,
I mean,
Yes, that's true.
it just feels like it takes everything out of what Pokemon is.
Kind
like
of,
that.
but I feel like
that thing alone.
I feel like there are a lot of other things in this that I enjoy that are giving me a Pokemon experience. By no means is this the perfect Pokemon RPG. I think as we said earlier, this is a good stepping stone for what we should expect from the next one. I think as far as graphics and as far as like how you interact with your Pokemon, I have some grievances, surely, but I really liked the candy system. I like being able to judge my Pokemon without taking them to a guy, and I like being able to see the stats really, really well and see obviously why this Pokemon is better than the other one, even though they're the same Pokemon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's fine. Like the visual cues and like the ease of finding that information should be easy, but the actual like attaining those numbers shouldn't be as easy, I think.
Yeah, and I think you're right. There are, you are training Pokemon, so you want to be able to battle with them as often as possible. And so in this game, the only time you'd ever be battling is if you're fighting trainers or if you're fighting gyms and stuff. And so there's less of that, I think, because of the fact that you're not fighting wild Pokemon. But I feel like if they do put back the battle system, they got to make it faster. They got to for people who are like hardcore people who are like doing this. I don't need to spend this amount of time waiting for it to queue up and then to start and then the moves itself, or if I could just speed up some of the things,
it is a
maybe
bit
have
slow
that as a
sometimes.
feature.
Yeah, and I think that being able to see the Pokemon on the map like they put in this game would make that actually faster, because you're not like running away from like other Pokemon that you don't want to fight, and it's just a really I think that's genius, and I really think they should have implemented that like so far
I agree.
beyond past games.
Yeah.
But I really don't like the non-wild Pokemon battles.
Right. Well, I like you see the Pokemon like you said. I like a lot of the menu navigation in this. And like during battles I can check like full stats of my attacks and things of that nature, and what they do, and it just feels smoother. A lot of things feel smoother. I like the fact that I don't have to go to a computer in a Pokemon Center to move my Pokemon around. I don't know if that's something that changed in the last version, but in this version you just have all of your Pokemon with you at all times, and you can just change out what's in your
I didn't like that
pointer.
at all either.
What?
That was one of the things that I had a problem with, was that you had to use the PC to store your Pokemon and everything.
Yes.
It just felt like Eddie was talking about with that guy that gave you the stats and stuff. It just took more time for no reason.
Yeah, and that's
sorry.
That's a good example, I feel, of something that has very slowly gotten better, but should have gotten better much sooner.
And I think that's like taking out the middleman.
Yes.
Like taking out the middleman is fine, because you're condensing the amount of time to take between those two steps that you're looking to do.
Yeah.
Like without having to go with a 1 to 1.5 to 2, and so forth.
Yeah. So, question: If we put the wild battling back in, are you a fan of receiving candies from those Pokemon to use for your stats, or are you more on Eddie? Are you more on Scott's side, where you'd rather just get an Eevee point from defeating a certain Pokemon?
I would be okay if the candy worked up to a point. Like
I like that.
proteins and the calciums that you have in there that you can feed. the Pokemon, those
Right.
candies and stuff.
They kind of do,
up to
like there is a
15
max
or 20
stat, and then eventually at some point you have to, like, there are certain, eventually it takes more candy per point to improve, depending on how strong your Pokemon are.
I see.
And there are different sizes of candies as well that work for different levels of Pokemon. So there is a little bit more thought into it than just mindlessly throwing a candy at your Pokemon. But I like that. I think it's a cool system that I hope they continue to use.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't know too much about the candy aspect because I didn't actually see much of that in the game.
There's just a candy per stat.
Yeah, but I guess I wouldn't mind that to the point. If I think you would be able to get that from battling as opposed to like catching the Pokemon.
Yeah.
But they might like leave behind, their candy or something, or like
I really,
an essence.
really like that aspect as well, especially maybe it's just because I've been playing an MMO lately, but like having that way, because it still separates that the traditional from the hardcore. Like, yes, you can still feel like you're involved with the Pokemon and you're leveling them to a certain point, but if you want to get the top tier, you still got to put that effort in. That's different from what you're normally going to get from just training.
Yeah. I don't mind that. I what else happens in this game? Oh, if you catch Pokemon, so let's talk about how you can get combos of Pokemon, and that makes it so it makes farming for shinies a lot simpler. Which I don't really mind.
Yeah, the shiny rate is still apparently astronomically high, so I don't mind like doing extra things to increase that or decrease that chance, or increase the chance of interacting with the shiny.
Yeah, I also wasn't really
it's always
super
been
aware.
ridiculous.
Yeah, it's been ridiculous always. I was never super aware of any ways that you could tweak that beforehand. I've caught like one shiny Pokemon in my life, and that was in the first game that I owned in like Gold. That's it. Aside from like Pokemon Quest,
right, and aside from like the main line, red Gyarados that you can get.
Right, correct. Yes.
This is another thing that I like about the game because, in my opinion, from the Pokemon games history that I've had, I also have only got one or two shiny Pokemon throughout my whole Pokemon quote unquote career, and I just feel like that's dumb. Like, yes, they're rare Pokemon, but at the same time, all it really is just a palette swap for those Pokemon, and so I don't feel like it should be that hard. And I think just boosting it up, obviously, yes, like Eddie said, the rate is still very, very high, or still very, very low, and it's very rare to find them. But that added bonus just makes it a whole lot easier, I think.
And I don't mind increasing that bonus because it's something you have to do to actually have it done for you. If it were just lowered, I would be like, no, because that would take the special, the special feeling you get whenever you see a shiny Pokemon.
Whenever you accomplish that,
like you freak the crap out whenever you see a shiny Pokemon. It's not like a everyday thing, or even like a
accurate
yearly year thing.
Very true.
So.
But yeah, I like that. I think overall in this, like, I've enjoyed the experience of playing this game and just seeing the Pokemon in the wild. I know we've mentioned that and probably hit that to death, but like, I also really like having Pokemon aside from Pikachu out of the Pokeball walking around with you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's something I've always wanted them to bring back, and they've only done it like once with the whole like Pokemon following behind you.
Yes.
Especially the Pokemon once they've evolved and gotten larger that you can ride.
Yes.
I think that's the coolest thing ever.
It is super cool.
The first time... Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was just saying, the first time I rode an Onix through town was, like, amazing.
Right? The first time I saw an Onix, because, again, like, they're in the physical world, and they're in the physical world in their own size. So when you run into an Onix, it takes up, like, the fucking screen, and it's like, oh, my goodness gracious. So cool.
And that's something I've always wanted. Like in Pokemon in general, one of the complaints I've always had was that you can't interact with your Pokemon very much outside of like raising their levels and raising their IVs and EVs and such, and training their moves.
They were really just sprites on a screen for you.
Right. They were tools. They were numbers that you could throw at somebody else, and I've always wanted them to add more interaction with Pokemon. And like Pokemon and me and stuff, they're all right, but that's still just interacting with like numbers and stuff.
Right.
So
That's a feature
actually
I really
happen.
hope that that's a really feature that I really hope they keep, because it even they came down to the point where they even made the way the Pokemon followed you or the way that you rode the Pokemon different, like the way that they walk,
they're all
the
unique.
way that they crawl.
It's pretty cool.
It's just crazy.
It's also created some like I guess I'm just complaining for the sake of complaining, but like some of the Pokemon when they follow you, I have some problems with. A couple of them that I should definitely be able to ride, I can't. Like you can't ride a Blastoise, and I'm like, what are you talking about? He's twice my size.
Yeah,
And he just
I feel
follows behind you like a goof, real slow.
I feel like you should be able to jump on his shoulders or something, or just have him lift you up.
Especially if I can ride on a Charizard. Like this is very strange.
Can you swim on him though? I don't know if
maybe you can. I haven't gotten to that point. But maybe you can do that.
Swim on Gyarados.
That's
Gyarados is
true.
way cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I also like some of the pathfinding for the Pokemon that follow you is just lazy. Like they don't follow you super well. They get stuck in places really easily.
And every time you walk through them, they disappear.
Yes, if you walk too close to them, they'll pop back in their Pokeball, which I feel is dumb. Why don't they just like move a bit? You know what I mean? And then if they get stuck behind stuff, it takes a while for them to catch up to you, and they just catch up by popping back in their Pokeball and popping out, which I feel is dumb, especially when you're riding a Pokemon that's too big for a certain area. Riding an Onix is great, except for when you're riding an Onix in like a small walkway or in a cave, because you'll pop up and off of him really frequently, and he'll just disappear. And I'm like, this is not as cool as it should be. But
well, I think following AI has a lot of has a long way to go as well, because that's not unique to Pokemon.
Yeah,
because anything that has like following AI has.
And this was a huge change for the Pokemon game. Like no Pokemon game has ever even gotten close to something like this. So
yeah, I mean you're not wrong. These are true things, but
and to be fair, Onix are like super big.
Yes,
yeah,
they're
fact
big.
that
you should be able to ride them.
Crazy.
I would prefer it just like tell you, hey, you can't ride this here, rather than like glitching.
But then you would
me.
be like, well, I can't ride Onix. Why can't I ride Onix if I could ride Charizard?
But now that I know what's gonna happen, I would just prefer that. However,
there's no pleasing you, Ethan.
There's no pleasing me. I will complain. My favorite thing ever, though, so I love that I can get a Alolan Pokemon. For one, I haven't experienced that game yet. I own Moon, but I haven't played it yet. And I also really like how earlier we were talking about shiny Pokemon. I like palette swapping. It is pretty simple. The Alolan Pokemon are obviously a little bit more than that. It's a palette swap and oftentimes a type swap, type change, or things like that, which I think is really cool. I just wish that would happen more often. Like, you know what I mean? Like Pearl, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl would have been much more palatable for me if all the Kanto Pokemon you run into, which are quite a lot, for a new version of Pokemon, for us to run into the first freaking version of Pokemon all the time.
That's why Diamond and Pearl were pretty bad.
They were really bad. If those were like different types, if they were different because they were in a different area, like the Alolan Pokemon, I think that would have been. I think that's the Alolan Pokemon thing is something they should have been hitting on way sooner than they did. So I like having those around. And
since they've received such a good reception, I don't think that it'll be the last that we see a different type of Pokemon.
Oh yeah, no, Gen 8's going to have its own variances as well. There's no doubt.
I also hope that we get another version of this game for Johto.
Well, on that note, there was a bit of a hint to it whenever you fight Sabrina. Like she mentions that she's not going to see another trainer like that for like 3 years, which is like the same timetable as from Yellow to Gold and Silver.
Dope. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Well,
so it's probably going to happen, to be honest.
Good.
So but we'll probably see Gen 8 before that.
Very hopeful.
And now, is Gen 8 coming to the Switch, or is it going to the mobile device?
Switch.
No, it's going to Switch.
Holy
big times,
everything Pokemon will probably still be on Switch from now on. Until the next.
Excited.
Before we get too far,
since,
you got it. Sorry. Continue.
I was like, I'm especially excited because I think the last game that the Pokemon game that I played was probably like Diamond, and it wasn't my favorite experience of it, and it took me a while for me to get into Pokemon again because but Sun and Moon and then this game I think were like they've changed the game a lot. They've made it serious innovations, and they've also kind of stepped forward as to what they're going to plan for in the future. I felt like they're coming a long way from running out of ideas.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, well, they haven't deviated from the formula very much.
Not too much.
That's true.
They haven't had to have too many ideas.
But there are things about Pokemon games that I do like that they haven't deviated from. Like I do like the gym battles. I do like the Elite Four. I do like those kinds of things. That to me is part of a Pokemon game. It has to be in there at least a little bit.
Yeah, and I agree. But if you're gonna have plot like a team doing something bad. Yes. And trying to take over the world or alter the timeline or steal your Pokemon.
Or breach into other worlds.
Yeah, it's just, please, just come up with something different. Like, have the Pokemon become sentient and, like, try to take over the world. Like Mewtwo in the first movie. Or whatever.
Have, like, some sort of alien thing come down and mind control them, like a Deoxys that just, like, controls an army of Pokemon.
Just give us some different sort of antagonist, please.
Yep, please. You're not wrong.
So I don't know. That's just another gripe. Like those are like the two main gripes I've had of Pokemon as a whole. So.
Yeah, this is our episode. Eddie complains about Pokemon.
Hey, we're all very passionate about Pokemon because we've been stumbling over each other.
Yes.
It's very much so our like childhood, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, the reason I brought up the Alolan is I wanted to make this point. Scott, do you have an Alolan Sandshrew yet?
I do. Yes.
I have like 20 of those on Pokemon Go.
They are probably my favorite thus far of the Alolans. Have you ever pulled it out of its Pokeball and let it follow you?
No.
It is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. So the normal Sandshrew rolls up in a ball and rolls like forward, right?
Yeah.
The Alolan Sandshrew curls up and spins on its belly like sideways, and it'll follow you like that. That's so adorable. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen. So it just rolls up and there's nothing but its little tail sticking out. It looks like a little pebble, and it just spins, and it's the best thing. I love it so much. Like I don't want to evolve it. I just want it to be that.
Sandslash might be better.
Maybe, but like I don't want to evolve it until I have another one of these, and I'll evolve that one because he doesn't evolve by level; it evolves by Ice Stone. So like, I would have to choose to evolve it anyway. I love it. He's also like, he's my strongest Pokemon aside from Pikachu because I just use him so much. He's great. Having an ice Pokemon early on in the game is like killer.
Yeah, it's definitely game breaking in the beginning for sure, especially when you're like getting into like the fire Pokemon and stuff that you're fighting against.
Yeah, he knows Ice Punch, and he has a ridiculous amount of attack.
The grumpy Pikachu.
I just posted a wet Pikachu picture.
Sure did.
The fluffy Pikachu from, Detective Pikachu.
Yes.
He's all fluffy, and I love that design so much. It's so cute. I want a plushie so bad.
Mario.
Anyway.
Okay. Scott, do you have any gripes about this game that haven't been mentioned?
Good question. I think one of the big gripes that I have with the game, I think the one that I've really kind of touched on already is that it's just it does seem a little too easy. I mean, generally I found myself in the beginning of Pokemon games like I would have difficulties very early on, and you'd have to spend some time doing some grinding and everything like that. My first experience playing this game, I sat on it for about 3 hours, and I got to like 3 gyms without even having to grind or anything like that. Like to me, it felt like the gyms weren't a scaled up version of fighting trainers and stuff. And I know that like the end game's different, and you're fighting Pokemon masters of certain Pokemon types and everything, and that's really where it's going to get to be difficult. But I feel like I would have liked to have seen that a little bit more in the regular gameplay.
I get you. I think it started getting difficult for me 4 gyms in because, as we mentioned before, the way you level up your Pokemon, if not fighting other trainers, is by catching Pokemon. And to me, that just didn't like register as much. So like I haven't specifically tried to run into wild Pokemon as often as I would if I were training, because I'm like, I see that Pokemon, I have that Pokemon, I've got 4 of them, I don't need any more, and so I won't run into them. So, but because of that, my Pokemon aren't getting experience because I'm not battling. Or I'm not catching Pokemon, so they're not getting experience. So like, it's just mentally like I forget that I should be doing that just to give my Pokemon experience, if not anything else. Because in my mind, that's only for catching. And so, and that way, I think it would be nice to have the battling come back, the wild battling come back, just because it would remind me to actually grind a bit, which is what I'm having to do now, because I've reached a point where I can't really go any farther without grinding for a bit more.
And I see that as well. In the beginning, the only reason why I actually caught any Pokemon was for those trainers that were just handing off Pokemon, and you had to have caught a certain number of Pokemon. And so I remember, like, I got to, like, the one with the the Charmander, and I was like, oh, okay, he's like, I'm trying to get rid of my Charmander. I'm like, you're getting away, what? Yes, I'll take a Charmander. And he's like, oh, wait, you haven't caught 100 Pokemon. You can't have this one. And I'm like, what the freak?
It's not 100, it's like 40, Scott. What are you doing? I had caught so many Pokemon by that point. At that point, I was like, I'd gone like crazy trying to catch like large combos of Pokemon. I walked up to him and he was like, oh, how many Pokemon have you caught? Oh, you've caught 72 Pokemon. It's just like the second town. He was like, oh, here, have this. I was like, okay, thank you, sir.
But I just felt so defeated. I mean, the guy was like, yeah, you haven't caught enough Pokemon. You can't have this one. And I'm like, why? That's so counterproductive. Give me that one and I'll have more.
I understand that. But just turn around and catch 10 Pidgeys. You'd be fine.
Yeah, I ended up grinding, and I found an Abra doing the grind around that area, so that was fun. But geez Louise. And I do like the idea that there are Pokemon that you have there's like a reason to catch these Pokemon. Like if you catch a certain amount of Pokemon, then this will open up for you. Like I like that aspect. I feel like if they change the way that they catch or the way that they battle and everything like that, I'd still like to have that at least kind of like an achievement kind of way. That's one of the things that I like is like I've got to get the achievement kind of thing. And one of the things that I think was just underdeveloped was the catching.
Well, I think that's a thing. That combo aspect is a thing in other RPGs as well. I know. Final Fantasy 12, and maybe other Final Fantasy. I'm not super certain, but in 12, you could get combos by defeating the same type of enemy over and over and over again, and it would give you better drops, better loot drops, and higher experience every time. And that's what happens essentially in this game, and I really like that.
I think that if I would even be okay with them like combining it, like the system, like the wild battle system, as well as the catching system, with what they did with the legendaries, as we said, and Snorlax.
Would you rather like defeat them and then have to throw the Pokeball, or like choose which way to do it?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. It would probably take a lot longer to do both of them. To be fair.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think maybe you could like choose going in as like I want to catch this Pokemon, or no, I want to defeat this Pokemon, and then you have to go with whichever choice you make.
I don't know about that.
Well, I think there's a happy medium there. I think you can use the way instead of having to just use berries, just like in the other game, you can use battle system to make it easier to catch.
Yeah,
and so you can battle them a little bit and then throw a ball, and if you haven't battled them enough, or they've been given enough damage.
That's the basic thing that I'm sure they will do. We're just postulating if they were gonna try and combine it or save anything from this system.
I feel like if they did that, and they made it, if they kept the turn-based system that they have. Just by speeding that up a little bit better, I think that would be perfect to do that, to implement both things. I mean, I wouldn't speed it to the point where it's like Pokemon Go, where you're just tapping a button or whatever. I feel like that ruins it a little bit. But
a little bit.
But the turn-based system, I think, would be really, really easy.
Yeah. Well, they said that this, even like when it was first announced, they said that this wasn't supposed to be like a core RPG game. It was just supposed to be like an offshoot,
a pretty casual thing.
So I have faith for the Gen 8 game.
I agree
that I'll really probably likely get, depending on certain things, I guess.
Yeah. So
still probably not gonna get this one.
That's fine. It's a great game, Eddie.
Dang it.
So I have a couple. You failed. I have a couple of gripes about this game.
Couple more gripes.
Couple big ones. I mean, the things I mentioned before aren't super large gripes. A couple big problems I have, and one of them is going to sound kind of strange and almost sacrilegious, but I just don't I don't really like Pikachu. I'll be real.
Wow.
Get Eevee. What the heck?
No, it's not that I would prefer Eevee. It's the character of this Pokemon that's palling around with you. Eddie and I had a conversation about the Justice League movie. It's impressive to me how often we call back to that discussion. But in the Justice League movie, the character of Flash
this conversation
is such that he like acts cute, like as if he believes that that's what you want him to do. That he's trying to appear cute because he wants other people to assume he's cute, even though he's not. Like he's putting on a show. And I feel like that is what Pikachu does every time he's anywhere. I hate hearing him say his name now because it's so repetitive, and he has these specific signature. But no other Pokemon says their name. Only Pikachu does
in the game. Sure.
Yes, in the game. That's what I'm saying.
It's true.
Okay.
And he says it several different ways depending on what he's doing. Like he has.
Have you not watched the anime?
He has a few signature moves, and he'll say his name and do this thing the same way every time, and it's just kind of grating. It goes back to what Scott mentioned earlier about speeding up the fight process. It's like all these other Pokemon just get to do their little attack, and then Pikachu has a freaking cutscene to do things. And I'm like, I don't care, I just want to beat this guy. Please. Thank you. Also, the secret techniques that you learn, like chop down and like, what is it? Like float?
And Frizzy Frop.
I'm just like, why can't it just be cut? Why can't we just have a machine that lets your Pokemon use cut? Like we had in, I think Sun and Moon was the one that did that.
Well, you got Pokemon Call from it. Like you call the Pokemon to do things for you.
Yes.
It wasn't actually hidden machines. So.
Well.
Like it was hidden machines. You just called a Pokemon down.
Right. So they would use,
and they would
use cut, or they would use fly, or some nonsense like that.
Where it wouldn't, take up a move slot in your Pokemon.
Right, and that's fine. I'm A-okay with that. I'd like that to be here. But the way it is like these are moves that these aren't Pokemon moves. These are secret techniques, quote unquote, that you as a human being are supposed to learn. But instead, they teach it to your Pikachu because he's so cute. And he's like, I want to learn this. And they're like, oh, it's so adorable. We're going to teach it to him. And so your Pikachu does these things for you, like cutting down trees using the secret technique chop down that supposedly only humans know. Or flying using a bicycle with a bunch of balloons attached to it. And I'm like, okay.
It's a secret technique.
So
why can't you just show me getting on the back of a really cool bird Pokemon and flying off? Like, that would be dope.
So yeah, I think that's really, really dope to do it that way. Like I do feel like it is kind of pushed. It's heavy-handed, I think, a little bit.
Yes.
And I think if it would be different if we could teach those moves to other Pokemon and see different animations, and because we see that your Pikachu or your Eevee can learn these moves, then that implies, because in other games only certain Pokemon could learn certain moves. I think if in this case, if you could teach any move to any Pokemon for that particular reason, it would be more beneficial. And I kind of get where you're coming from when it comes to the Pikachu as well. I personally, and this, I guess, like you said, a little sacrilegious, I feel like Pikachu is a little overrated. I mean, I do. Like, he's become more like the icon of Pokemon. He's the mascot.
He's always been the icon.
Yeah, he always has been.
Always has been.
And so, like, it's great to have Pikachu because he is the icon and everything. But like, I kind of have different favorites. I mean, like, I would really like to have a Lucario to walk around with, or to be your companion and everything, and dress Lucario up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, that to me is cool. Well, and I think limiting it to just Pikachu, and even just to Eevee, I think it just felt,
Well, I think my issue isn't with Pikachu specifically. It's just with this character. this your companion is supposed to be the end all be all, cutest, most amazing thing ever, and I'm like, I've had other Pokemon, man. Like, I don't care super hardcore about Pikachu. I just chose him because he's better than Eevee. And like, I feel like I would get upset with Eevee too, just because like everyone is shoving this Pikachu down your throat when it's already literally attached to your shoulder. And I'm like,
I can't tell you, like, Eevee is just so cute, and maybe it's just because like I'm a dog lover.
I like Eevee's voices.
Oh, the voices are so cute, and they're like
again, because it's not yelling its name at you really pretentiously like this Pikachu.
And we've got the little Pokeball
it's just got
actual stuff.
Yeah.
And so her voice like comes throughout that as well. It's just so adorable.
So, to go along with this conversation, which I don't care. I think Pikachu's cute.
First of all, I don't care.
What if they gave them like each, like, depending on what type of mood it was, like to match the personality, and their Pikachu or Eevee cries and stuff would match that, like adamant or timid and etc.
That might be cool.
Would you like that more?
Yeah, maybe so.
Well, are you talking about moves or are you talking about emotions? Because we have the emotions already. Like when Pikachu gets into, or Eevee, when Eevee goes into the tower, the graveyard tower, basically, like he stops
Pokemon
you.
tower.
Whatever the thing is called, I don't know.
Well, that's like a set thing, though.
Yeah, that's a cutscene. We're talking about like just based on their nature when they pop out of their Pokeball.
Right.
What are they going to say? Yeah.
Like how they are normally. Like that cutscene would change depending on like if it was a brave Eevee, it would like run in as opposed to like trying to keep you away from doing it and stuff.
And since nature is so important in this game, you can change your nature of the Pokemon that you're training.
I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be
awesome.
Kind of cool.
Also,
but again, you should be able to do that with any Pokemon, I think.
Yeah, I agree. They put this thing
that goes back to my interaction complaint I had earlier. So.
They put this thing in where your Pokemon, if they like you to a certain extent, if they're hit with a really hard attack, they'll try to hold on to 1 HP.
Yeah. Well, that was in Pokemon. In Sun and Moon too.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Good inclusion. In this one, I don't know if it happened in Sun and Moon. In this one, when it does that, it will be like Pikachu held on so that you wouldn't cry.
It looks like it might cry.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I ain't gonna cry, and I don't care if you're gonna cry. You're a weapon, Pikachu. We're here for a purpose. You have to beat them. If you're not gonna beat them, we'll switch you out. Calm down. Don't get emotional. This ain't no place for that.
Though
relax.
when they do get KO'd in a fight and they run back crying, I almost like had a heartbreak when I saw that happen. Oh my god, you poor thing.
I feel like that's really dumb because Pikachu's supposed to be knocked out. Like I feel like the animation would have been better if I had run up and picked him up in my arms and then run back.
Oh yeah, that would be holy
better.
Crap.
Like that, and that I would feel that more.
I feel like
no, he just turns around and he's like, "I'm sorry, Pika," and he just. I'm like, "Shut up!"
Traumatized kids, though.
I've got 5 more Pokemon. Relax, we're good.
I don't know the first Pokemon movie where Ash turns to stone and then everybody starts freaking crying. God.
Everyone in the theater cries and all their tears float towards the screen.
Right. I cried when I saw that crap.
There's nothing wrong with
freaking Pikachu comes up and like touches Ash's head and tries to wake him up. God. Yeah, we need that in the game. Come on.
That's what we need. Let's go.
We need The Last of Us Pokemon Edition.
Overall,
that would be great. I would play it.
Oh yeah, heck yeah. Like a grim
like a really
Pokemon.
A first-person shooter Pokemon.
Give us a post-apocalyptic setting, please.
You grab a Pikachu and you just hold it at things and it shoots them.
Zombie Pokemon. Come on, the zombies stand out.
Talk about giving you a new storyline, though. Jeez Louise.
Hire me, Nintendo.
Anyways,
but see, like that's the sort of plot things that I'm talking about. Like, I would love to see different alterations,
different things.
Like,
well, did you play Detective Pikachu? Are you excited at all about?
No, I didn't.
That? I think that's sort of how that movie's going to be. Is it like just a separate? I'm excited for it being a separate thing to what we've seen in the anime or the games thus far.
Mm-hmm. Did you play Detective Pikachu?
Negative.
Okay, so I don't know if do you guys know the story of Detective Pikachu?
So there's a Pikachu, and he solves crimes, and he can talk.
Okay, so
done.
So I looked it up. So after we saw the live action Detective Pikachu trailer, I looked up the cutscenes and stuff, like the story for the game. And the first scene is the story of Detective Pikachu, and he is a Pikachu owned by a detective who helped him go solve crimes and everything. And every time he would finish his day, he would put his little hat on his Pikachu. The very first scene is that same detective getting in a car wreck and Pikachu being the only survivor. And so he just takes that hat and then continues his trainer's journey as a detective.
Pretty sure that's in the trailer.
In the trailer?
I think in this one, though, it might be... I think the murder they're trying... Or the person that dies is, I think, the trainer's...
The kid's father.
Father, yeah. But you see a car wreck in the trailer.
But I saw that Pikachu crying outside of a crashed car, and I was like, holy crap, what is this game?
Ninja Turtles,
I kind of want
Scott.
to play it. Like,
do you know the Ninja Turtles background?
That's true.
Do you know how Splinter became to be a Splinter?
So it's the stuff that fell into Daredevil's eyes. It went into the sewer grate and it touched these turtles and stuff, and that's why the Daredevil fights the hand and they fight the foot. And
absolutely right, you crushed it.
Oh my god! And they were named after Renaissance painters.
Yep, they were. Yes, they were.
Why?
Because that's what Splinter could remember.
No, I know. I'm just.
Anyways, this is a great game, and everyone should play it, including Eddy.
Okay, as many gripes as I've had with the game, it shows me a positive future for the Pokemon game series. I think this is a great step forward.
It fills me with childlike joy. Like, playing it, despite the gripes I have, especially the first time I played it, I was just so happy to be playing this and to be running around in a world full of Pokemon that I could see with my eyeballs. It was so cool.
Did either of you play Red and Blue?
Yes.
I did play Red, but on an emulator.
What a loser.
Okay, when did you play that?
I own Red. I played Gold first, and then I played Red. So shortly after Gold existed, I played Red.
And then you stopped forever until...
No, that's not true.
2 years ago.
I played Ruby following that. Then I stopped forever until a couple years ago when I played Pearl, which is an extreme disappointment. But I own Black 2 and Moon, and eventually will own X or Y, whichever one I decide to get, and I will play through those.
What, you own all of these at the same time right now?
Currently, I do, yes.
You're weird.
I just haven't beat the Elite Four in Pearl yet, and I just don't. I just this weird block. I can't move forward without doing that. So eventually, I will.
Well, I mean that's one thing to do. So. It's Battle 4 trainers.
It's hard.
But no, I don't know. I just it's the second Kanto remake since the first one was released, and I didn't beat Moon either because I got bored really quickly.
Yeah.
So.
And I think the nostalgia goggles were on me a little bit hard because I didn't play those remakes. I just played the original and then went back, or it got to this. And so for me, this is like a fresh start. I didn't play Sun and Moon, so I didn't, have the same feeling of that as well. But I think, like Ethan was saying, like my childhood joy like shot up to 11. I was, back into my kid age, trying to be the best that I ever was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna make that point, but then Ethan was like, "I played Red and Gold." And
I did.
I was like, "Dang it!"
I played Red and I played Gold and I played Ruby.
Way to throw my point out the
easy
window.
to please.
I also played Fire Red. So.
Why? How are you enjoying this game?
Yeah, wait, what the heck?
Because it's different and I like it. I like Pokemon.
It's not different.
Eddie, I love Pokemon.
It's not. I'm sorry. I love Pokemon too, but I want
running
something
into
different.
wild Pokemon. You just want Lucario. Look, that's all
I mean,
you
that
want.
would be a benefit, but I can get Lucario in all the games that have been released.
Let's Go Lucario, you would have already purchased it.
I would have pre-ordered that crap like 2 years ago.
So
But
don't try to sit on your
Riolu
high
is
horse.
not an option for this.
Yet.
Yet. It'll get
Yeah,
there.
he would be the choice if Let's Go freaking Lucario, Riolu,
Ooh,
and Let's Go.
Let's do that. So let's predict what will be
Zoroark.
Johto. What do you think would be Johto's choices? Because
Good
I think it's going to be...
Togepi.
I think it would be Espeon and Umbreon, or at least I hope. That's what I would want it to be.
Why would they ever do why would
Because of
if
Pokemon
they're
Coliseum,
doing
I think.
Coliseum did that.
Pikachu and Eevee, why not have Raichu and Flareon or
Were they going to make
the
4
others.
games? They're not going to make 4 games. They're going to make 2. And there's already 2 Eevees from that evolutions specifically from
They're
that.
not going to go for an evolved Pokemon.
'Kay.
Like, I'm going to tell you that now. Because the main aspect of Let's Go is to have this little bitty partner Pokemon
That's
that
true.
looks babyish
That's true.
and cute.
What else would they get then?
Togepi is one of the choices.
What if they give you
because
a-
Misty was forever with that Togepi.
What if they give you a Pupitar?
That Pupitar.
I don't think anyone would be like, yes.
I would. I'd be like, yeah, dog, give me that Pupitar. Or a Spinarak.
Why not Larvitar?
Oh, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Let's go build them.
Oh my god.
Let's go
Jesus
build them.
What else would they be?
What else is cute?
I
and
definitely
fluffy
think
in that
Togepi would be one.
So Togepi and the heck else? What the heck else? I'm trying to think of what's in that. What's the squirrel one? Is that one in that one? Sintret?
The squirrel one.
Sintret and Furret? Is that from Johto?
Oh yeah, Sintret and Furret, yeah. But those are trash Pokemon. You don't want that.
There's non-trash Pokemon that are cute. That would work.
Yeah,
And I think the starter Pokemon are really good.
But I mean, like, you're probably just gonna get those eventually. I don't think they're gonna, if they follow suit with what they did with this one.
True, but I guess the difference is that Pikachu was originally a starter in the older ones, and Eevee was. I guess Eevee's just a spin-off of that. They wanted to try something new with Eevee because I guess.
Oh, what about the under-evolved form of Jigglypuff? What's that thing?
Wigglytuff? Or no, Igglybuff.
Igglybuff.
Yeah.
Or the
I don't know.
under-evolved form of...
I don't think...
Oh, what about a Pichu? Easy.
Yeah, but that would be like... Pikachu.
I know, but I mean, like, that seems like a pretty easy choice for them. Like, done. Plug and play.
I don't know.
Or we could get a Slugma.
Ew, why?
You could have a live
just like throwing out Pokemon.
lava creature on your
Celebi. Let's do a Houndour.
Oh, what about this? What about the? Is it Hoppip?
Ooh, Houndour would be cool.
The floating Pokemon. Like Houndour would be super dope, but it can't ride on your shoulder, and I'm pretty sure that's
Fanpy would probably be a good choice.
Ooh yeah.
Fanpy and Togepi. Those are my final answers.
Final answer: Fanpy, Togepi. Oh man, what? Chinchou.
Good Dunsparce. Porygon 2.
Whooper. Who wants a Whooper? Everybody wants a Whooper.
Pupitar.
Okay, for the record, I meant Larvitar. Hitmontop.
Such a cute Pokemon right there.
Octorock.
I want to touch its foot.
Oh, what about this? The gosh, I don't even remember what this is. The thing that evolves into a large furry thing with tusks. What's its under-evolved form?
Oh, you mean Swinub?
Yes, that's the one. Oh, Teddiursa. Done. Easy.
Teddy's.
Oh yeah,
Teddiursa's gotta be one.
I don't know if that like those. I don't know. Fanpy's not very popular. I mean, wouldn't be a very popular choice either. But,
no, but I think Teddiursa's gotta be in that running.
Maybe.
So Togepi, Teddiursa, and what was the other one? Fanpy. But I think Teddiursa would be out Fanpy.
Yeah, I think Teddiursa would be a good choice too. But they have to go with the popular vote. So
Teddiursa,
we could see Pichu. Who knows?
Probably. Like,
Pichu's in Smash.
Likely. Or Hoot Hoot. Everybody wants a Hoot Hoot.
Anyway.
Great conversation, guys.
Final recommendation of Let's Go games is S+ out of both of you.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
S+.
Please play.
Triple S.
Real good.
Or wait for Gen 8.
All-star game of the year.
It's definitely well worth the money for sure.
I think.
And so. I think it's brought a lot more excitement for the 8th one for me as well.
Is it worth playing with the Pokeball? You think, Scott?
Ooh, good question.
You bought the Pokeball?
Yeah.
Yes,
I got the whole set.
Weirdo.
So it's good.
You're a tool.
It's good for two reasons. One, it's good for two reasons.
It's got a Mew.
It's got a Mew. Yes. It has so many it works so well as like a like the Wiimote controller. So it's got all these different vibration features depending on like what you're doing with the Pokemon or how the Pokemon's feeling or reacting. It'll change. It has really cool light up features and everything, and it also will, if you walk around with it and stuff and bring it back to the game, you can level your Pokemon up using it as well. That and the fact that I also play Pokemon Go pretty regularly, and you can put Pokemon Go Pokemon into it and use it for Pokemon Go as well as a Pokemon Plus. And so there's a lot of really cool aspects of that. I think the old Pokemon Plus, that little pin thing that you put on your shirt or whatever, that was not worth it. This totally worth it. And you can put different Pokemon in, and the different Pokemon will still make sounds with the controller as well. It's not just Eevee or Pikachu's. They'll all make noises as you play with them. And
will they do that when you're not playing the game?
Yeah. So when you're not playing the game, if you're just like walking around with them and stuff, you can shake the Pokeball and like that'll be like petting the Pokemon.
So you can inform everyone around you that you are a nerd.
Yes. Oh yes. And I think
show it off at parties, it's fine.
Yeah. One of the things I think is like the coolest little quirk of this thing is that when you plug it in to charge, it does that whole like the Pokestop healing thing that do like just on its own. It's so cool. I think
great.
It's just a small thing, but it's just a small thing.
Isn't it like $50?
It's $40, but it's worth it.
So essentially, Scott paid $100 for this game.
I did, and I would pay $100 for it again. It's great.
Oh, again, you say.
Otra vez.
Well, there you have it, Nintendo. Go ahead and make gold and silver.
Let's go. I'm down.
Let's go, Teddy Ursa, Togepi, and Orphanpy.
And Orphanpy. I'm just imagining Scott, or just any human being with this Pokeball just going out into the world. Like, ordering a sandwich, going to school, gonna go vote. You're in the voting machine, you hear a little little Eevee.
You just hang it on your belt and walk into the Walmart to go get your groceries. It's just a fun time.
A shirt that says "I'm an adult."
Hey, he bought it himself, so
man,
can be proud of it.
So good. Anyways, we've talked a lot about this game. Let's talk about anything else that we're doing. Eddie, start us off. What have you been nerding out to?
I'm almost done with Voltron.
Yeah, season 1.
I think I've got like 2 more episodes,
Hoorah!
and I'll probably watch season 2.
You almost certainly
despite
will.
Me not really liking the quirkiness of every character. Dear Lord.
Who's your favorite character, Eddie?
God, I don't know. I'll get back to you on that.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
I've also been playing the crap out of some modded Minecraft. Playing the popular games that all the kids like these days.
What kind of mod is it on there?
The mod pack is called Enigmatica 2. It's got a lot of different things. Like, it's crazy how far that Minecraft's come with mods and stuff. Because vanilla's alright, but like the mods just add such a gigantic dimension to the game. Like, you can have like a smeltery, you can create your own tools and things like that.
There's
really cool. Magic that you can learn and cast and things like that.
It seems to have gotten more and more, I don't want to say realistic, but there's more immersion to it, I think.
It's definitely more game than what it was before. Because like in vanilla, you went to the netherworld, then you went to the end, and that's basically all you did. And
joyous.
Yeah. It is just so much more to do with mods and stuff. So
cool.
If you haven't checked out Minecraft with mods in a while, then you should definitely take a gander, because it's really nice.
Cool.
Other than that, that's about it, really. I just finished Castlevania like last week, and I am now. We're almost a full season into the new JoJo, so that's great, and it's amazing, and everyone should watch it because it's really nice.
Okay, will do.
I'll get around to it eventually.
Sure you will.
Is there a manga for JoJo?
Yes, that's how it started, like 20 years ago.
Is it faithful to the manga? Do you know?
Yes, they actually use like what do you call them? What are the windows called? Panels. They use like panels.
Cool.
In the anime, like as motion and stuff like that. Like key moments that everybody knows of. They added in there pretty hard.
That's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
I like that.
Yep. It's pretty good. What about you, Ethan?
So it's mostly been Pikachu. I'm gonna be real. Been watching a bit of YouTube's. I've made a couple purchases recently, which were things that I will be diving into. For Black Friday, I celebrated Black Friday by purchasing a PS4 Spider-Man bundle, which just worked out really well. It was $200 for a 1 terabyte PS4 with the Spider-Man game, which is great. The console's usually much more than that, and then the game itself is like $60. So have all that for $200 was a really good grab. Glad I got that. It came with a controller. I already had a PS4 controller, fun fact. So now I have two, and it's wonderful. So I'm just like perfectly set up to have a friend over to play a PS4 game with me. Unfortunately, I don't think any of my PS4 games are multiplayer. Maybe Battlefront is. So I had Battlefront as well. Just
Battlefront is
because. I got that from an event that EA sponsored. So I just plucked that up. And I recently also bought the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 single disc version.
So good.
So now I have all of the Kingdom Hearts I could ever want on my PS4, so I can prep myself for January when Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. Woo!
Except for the fact that you're going to miss stuff from 2.8. There's key story plots in that.
Look,
and 2.8.5 and 2.9.
Don't worry about it.
2.858.
I'll watch a YouTube video. But like,
there you go.
Getting 2.8 versus getting all of these other things along with 2.5.
Yeah, no, definitely get the 1.5, 2.5.
And it was $20. So
yes,
yeah, it was a good pick in my opinion. I also recently went in on Hulu because they were having their Hulu for $1 a month thing. So now I have Hulu for the first time in my life, so that'll be fun. If there's any recommendations you have.
So the two shows that I've been watching, well, I guess three now. 3 shows that I've been watching on Hulu are the Handmaid's Tale, The Runaways.
Can watch that if I want to be sad.
Agent Carter, Marvel's Agent Carter.
Gotcha. Okay, I'll probably watch The Runaways. I think I saw that.
Or now. Unless it gets canceled.
Or now, yes, that's true. It almost certainly will. Like anything that's running on anything other than the Disney streaming service, which is everything currently, is probably going to get canceled.
The new season will come out in December 26th, I think.
Fun junk.
The day after Christmas, it'll pop the new season.
It'll be the last one. Didn't Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. get renewed for another season as well?
It did, but the new season won't start until after Avengers 4, I think, because the end of this last season tied into Infinity War so well that they wanted to resolve all of that Avengers stuff before they started again.
And what if Coulson shows up in Avengers 4?
I really hope that he will.
That.
I think that he will.
I want it so bad.
I don't totally want it.
Highly unlikely because everybody wants it.
Well, yeah, but he's going to be in Captain Marvel, so I think he will.
I know, I'm excited to see him.
I did hear about that.
I'm excited to see him in that, so yeah. Anyways, that's it. Well, Scott, what are you nerding out to?
Well, I felt like we needed to get something from the Black Friday sale as well. So Kaylee and I went to our local GameStop, which was it was as hectic as you can expect from a Natchitoches GameStop. We got there as it was opening for its Black Friday sale, and there were 7 people in line in front of us, and that was it.
I hate you.
It was amazing.
Wait, what did you get? I missed it.
So we got in. There wasn't anything that was like big on the deals that we were like so excited about, but we did get God of War for $17. That was really fun.
Oh, wow!
So we're excited to play that.
That's another one on my list.
And it's definitely one that I'm going to take the time to play. But Kaylee and I recently renewed our account on Final Fantasy XIV because they just announced the new expansion coming out in the next summer called Shadowbringers, and we are just right back into that deal. We just finished all of the Stormblood expansion story quests, and we're into like the in-game content stuff now. Finally getting into like the raids and trials and dungeons and stuff.
So Shadowbringers is the one that's going to have Fran in it.
No, so Fran's coming in the new patch that's coming in January.
Oh, new patch.
Which is prepping for Shadowbringers.
Yeah.
So Shadowbringers going to have them Vieira in it, though?
Yeah, so it's going to have
theoretically,
and they're going to be in the new expansion. It's coming in a new expansion.
I don't think they've been like officially confirmed. Though.
What we're getting in this new patch is going to be Blue Mage, and we're getting Fran, and that also will finish up the rest of our Return to Evil East raids. There's 3 large 24-man raids in Evil East that we get to go to, and this will be the 3rd chapter of that, the final chapter. Those are huge. There's a lot of Final Fantasy 12 in it. and there's just so much
That's cool
stuff that you get out of it. Plus, there's also going to be a lot of like stuff that you can pick up. There's character costumes and stuff from Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy 12 and Final Fantasy 8 that you can get in. Like you can buy Cloud Strife's motorcycle for crying out loud now.
Do we still not have the races from 12 though?
Do we still not have what?
The races.
The bongas or the Vieira?
They're more than that.
Well, I mean, like those are like the ones that you had asked about already.
Bonga, Vieira, Numo, Moogle. Those are
so we've got, they're not playable races, but we have some of those races in there. Like there are bongas in the Evilise raids that you fight, and Vieira are also implied. Also, we're going to get Fran, and then Vieira is going to be a playable character race in the new expansion, the Shadowbringers.
Theoretically.
If they drop the other ones, man, I'd be so excited. That's one of the main things that's kept me out of that game.
And I think that there's a lot more that can come from it as well. I know that one of the things that they've are also implementing in the new expansion is Blitzball, so we're going to get that, and that looks awesome, to be honest. I thought it was going to be like, because like Blitzball on the old game, old Final Fantasy X was kind of meh, but the way it looks like it's going to play in this,
it was really cool. Difficult.
It really was. It was uncalled for difficult. It was just insane. The mechanics were just horrible.
Why wasn't it more simple? Why couldn't it play for me?
I mean, it's not like, because I mean, it's okay.
They have different types of Blitzball candies that you could give to the Blitzball players. Make them better.
Make sure to feed them berries.
You can't train your characters. You have to just catch them.
No, but it's just like there were better underwater mechanics for the PS2 back in the day, and I just understand why you couldn't swim the way that you could swim in those games for this game. It's just so stupid. Plus, they tried to make it turn-based and movement-based, and it's just like, you got to pick one or the other. You can't do both.
Pokemon Go will be my new rubric for judging RPGs.
I think that's like the whole point of turn-based strategy games is movement and turn-based.
And I agree, but like in this, it was free movement but turn-based combat, and I'm like, you gotta pick one.
Yeah, okay.
You can't.
That's kind of weird.
It was weird, very weird. It was like, the best way I can describe it was like,
and you're in water, and you're so like it's like a water level, so it's like
oh man, can't wait to play.
Blitzball was not easy, and you could play in a league. Like you could literally see if you could beat other teams and win. Guess how many times I won? Solid never. I think I had a draw once. That was a real achievement for me.
The only times I ever won like consistently was when I was able to perfect the deject shot, and that is so difficult. That is insanely hard to do, and I think I've only ever done it once. So I think maybe I've only won the game once. But then I was just like, yep, I did it. I did it once. Great job, me. And then I turned it off and never played it again.
That's Scott's report. Big announcement. Backpedal.
But now basically, so one of the things that I loved about Final Fantasy 14, or one of the things about Final Fantasy 14 is when I got back home from my mission, Heaven's Sword had already come through. That was the second expansion, or the first expansion, and then Stormblood, which is the current one right now, the second expansion, was already out. And so I had to kind of scream through Heaven's Sword content to get to Stormblood and finally do that. And so now, since we've got to end-game content and we're leveling our characters up for like the raids, the top tier raids and stuff, we're going back, Kaylee and I are going back to Heaven's Sword content to kind of like reminisce and get through all the trials and smaller stuff that was in-game then, but now it's just kind of like added content for us here. And it's pretty cool going back down to older levels and stuff.
Fun.
I realized that I was horrible at tanking, and I'm getting better, hopefully. So
tanking is pretty intensive in any game, including WoW.
Tanking is for champions.
Says the person who's never played an MMO.
Never. Whoa, back up. I have played MMOs. Like, let's calm down.
You played what?
I've just not played really intense ones where I had to be a tank. I played Quorum Online and I played 12 Sky.
Yeah, those don't count.
Oh my gosh, 12 Sky.
They are MMOs.
They don't count.
So you never played an MMO with a class system is what you're talking
Slow your roll up. What? I
never played a real MMO.
I missed that, Scott. Excuse me. You can all go somewhere.
You can play
because I haven't wasted
RuneScape over here.
thousands of dollars and years of my life.
Oh my god.
Doesn't mean you can
I
jump
haven't
on
done that
me.
either.
I spent before I got into Final Fantasy 14 was the one and only sub MMO that I've done. The other ones have all been free to play, and I'd gone through like a slew of those before I got to Final Fantasy 14 and found that it was good. Like the biggest ones that I think I spent the most time on was RuneScape and a Korean MMO called Mabinogi or Mabinogi or whatever. I don't know how you pronounce
Crushed it. You got it. No worries.
But
don't go back.
It was that one was really really cool because it's also like kind of like an anime type MMO, and there's just like so many things you can do. Like there's tons of crafting, tons of building, tons of fighting, and different classes, systems, and stuff.
Yeah, that's MMOs in a nutshell.
Yeah, but it was more like Final Fantasy. Like you could have all of those things on the one character versus having to make a different character each time you wanted to do something different. So,
Wow. The point still stands. Ethan's never played a real MMO.
Like back up.
Never played a
Get
real
off
MMO,
me.
My MMO list is quite extensive.
Just get Final Fantasy 14.
Look at you.
It's on sale. It's good. You
Yeah,
can play it on
dude,
your
Final Fantasy
PS4,
14.
and you only have to
Play
get it
with
on PC.
Scott.
It plays really well on the PS4, to be honest. So,
I'm sure it does. Maybe I'll get it.
get it.
But I have a backlog at this point. At this moment.
Yes, you have an
Gigantic
insane
backlog, 'cause he
backlog. Having
An
gotten a PS4.
entirely new console.
I do. Well, I mean, just a
Having gotten
backlog of things
PS4
I've recently
now.
purchased. Like I still have Starlink that I haven't finished. I still have because I didn't finish Starlink because I bought Moonlighter, and I didn't finish Moonlighter because I bought Pokemon, and then I bought Spider-Man. And
There's a trend.
It just occurred to me how many games you've purchased. You've come a long way, my friend.
He's turning into me.
yes.
Yeah.
You see,
Only-
he's going to start buying games on sale, and then he's just never going to play them at all, forever.
I will play
Just
them
like,
at
you know,
least
Pokemon.
once.
No, you won't.
I played each of these once. I played Spider-Man for an hour. And then I was like, I can't come back to this until I finish Pokemon.
Yeah, and then you're going to be like, I want to play this game, and it's on sale now, and then
I mean-
you're going to buy it, and then you're not going to play
I mean, Smash
And you're gonna
Bros.
keep
comes
doing
out
it.
in less than 2 weeks, so...
Mm-hmm.
And then Kingdom Hearts is in January, so... I'm losing my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have all the
There are
Pokemon games I
plenty
mentioned
of
before that I haven't
games.
played. Yep. Life is grand.
You got to turn into me. We should go through my Steam library.
I want to do an episode on that. Let's
We totally should.
yes.
Like 200 games.
Anyways,
80% of which I haven't played.
I think we've rambled enough. That's the episode for this week. I'm gonna cut it off. Thank you for listening. We very much appreciate all of you who listen. Please comment, like, subscribe, do whatever you can to help us out. You can find the pod on Podbean, Castbox, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, and what's the iTunes. Gosh,
iTunes.
that's what it is. iTunes or Apple Podcasts or whatever it is now. You can find it there. If you want to let us know what you thought about Let's Go Pikachu, you can tweet at us at TMYKPod, or you can find us on Facebook, drop us a line there, or you could send us an email, thosenerdsyouknowpod@gmail.com. But I think that's about it. Next week, who knows what we'll do next week?
We don't even.
Castlevania? I'll
Maybe.
try to watch that.
If Ethan watches it, the 8 episodes that are 23 minutes.
I'm
each.
sorry. I'll make a valiant effort to get that done. But that's about it. My name's Ethan,
I'm Eddie.
I'm Scott.
and we are those nerds you know. Bye.